I'm going to scoot over a little bit here.
On one hand, you mourn your grandmother, and on the other, you discuss us with your STDs.
Yeah, in fact, I think your grandmother is happy not to be on this planet right now.
Yeah.
She's happy not to have heard that horrible joke. Okay, there I am. Was waiting for you. Okay. To the Gregolog, it's a razor blade of righteousness and an apple of idiocy. So Cornel West recently called President Obama, quote, a black mascot of Wall Street oligarchs and a black puppet of corporate plutocrats. Translation, I discovered a thesaurus. But there's more. In an interview on some wacky website, he spews, quote, I think my dear brother Barack Obama has a certain fear of free black men. It's understandable. All he has known culturally is white. When he meets an independent black brother, it is frightening. Now, in all the coverage of this, the authors painstakingly point out that West is both a Princeton and a Harvard professor and a leading black intellectual. They do this because they are scared witless of pointing out the obvious, that West is an ass. But he's also a hero in that he unintentionally brought race baiting to an absolute absurdity. A black progressive accusing another black progressive of racism against black progressives. Now, for black conservatives, this kind of defamation is nothing new. But for President Obama, it's got to be hilarious. He's just been outed as a white racist. But that's not the worst part. It's when West says this. As a young brother who grows up in a white context, brilliant African father, he's always had to fear being a white man with black skin. So in one crappy sentence, West praised the dad who was never there at the expense of the family who was. So it doesn't matter to West what a man does to his family as long as his ideology is sufficiently radical to meet West's tastes. Anyhow, this is probably more about petty slights than anything. West thought he'd be at the White House hanging with Barack. Instead, he sees Common. That's gotta hurt when you're a petty jerk. And if you disagree with me, you, sir, are a racist homophobe. Kevin, didn't he just unintentionally parody himself?
Gosh, I mean, where do you start with this? But, you know, I doubt that Cornel West has had dinner with a table whose net worth was less than $10 million
Yes.
in the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's true.
But he said, you know, Barack Obama spends too much time hanging out with rich white people and Jews.
Yeah.
Harvard?
Yeah.
Are there a lot of poor people at Harvard and
Yeah.
Princeton? I mean, I used to live not far from Princeton and drive through there every now and then. They wouldn't actually let me stop my car because I couldn't pass the credit check. This is just absurd. But he is, you know, showing the long-form birth certificate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it says African on there.
Yeah, it does.
What else do you want, Cornel?
Exactly. You know, Remy, I think this is good.
But he was in the Matrix. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I did not know that. Do you think Obama would ever have been accused of being racist against blacks?
No, I mean it's nonsensical. It's nonsense. There's nothing else to say about it but that it's nonsense. And I think that we're not going to see any kind of response from the president. I don't think anybody can actually offer a meaningful sort of rebuttal to statements like this. And I'm not so sure he even knows what he was talking about when he made those remarks.
You know what I think his point was, Matt, was that President Obama was not addressing the plight of poverty enough. But what's he supposed to do? If the programs that are already there are not helping, you know, why would he, you know, maybe he's trying to think of another way. But I think Cornel West is saying you've forgotten about the poor black man, I think.
Really? Because in my mind, he's trying, our president's Robin Hood. He's been stealing from the rich from day one and trying to take money and give it to the poor. So I think he's way off base. And he calls, you know, a mascot of Wall Street. Obama's Wall Street, unfortunately, is not a big fan of President Obama. He's definitely not our mascot by any means. This is the most anti-big business president we've ever had.
Except for Goldman Sachs, who gave him 70% of their political donations in 08.
But, okay, he's pissed off, though, because he tried to call the president, and the president didn't call him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, earth to Cornell. The president's busy screwing up our economy and ruining our country. He does not have time to call you back right now.
I got 45 seconds hard, Bill.
If President Obama is Robin Hood, where's my check? And you know I'm the merriest man in this damn building.
You are.
Merry.
Coming up, why do poor people smell so funny? We discuss Remy Spencer's new book, Poor People Stink, and what you can do about it.
Remy.
But first, what's Katy Perry up to? Probably a gram or two. Talking about sugar, people. She loves it on her FiberCon. Oh, that was perfect. The pop star with a rack says don't look back. Yep, Katy Perry's a super diva to her drivers. According to the singer's concert writer, acquired by the Smoking Gun, chauffeurs are, quote, not allowed to start a conversation with the client, end quote, or any of her guests or fans. And they're told not to stare at the back seat through the rearview mirror. Isn't that nice? The last driver who did that is now buried in a shallow grave outside Memphis. Other crap, well, for her dressing room, she demands flowers. And this is underlined, absolutely no carnations. I didn't know those were flowers. The writer also asks for free breakfast at her hotel. And lastly, her pets must be allowed to travel with her. That was actually her husband. I apologize. Hey, Remy, you travel only by black car. Who wants a chatty driver? Doesn't she have a point?
I don't only travel by black car. No, I mean, the Fox News Channel is kind enough to send a car to pick me up when I come and do your show. And sometimes, only sometimes, the drivers want to talk the entire way here. And then, if Katy Perry has a long, difficult day, I get it. But to put it in a contract, I mean, come on.
You know what? The drivers only talk to women. They don't talk to men. They hate us.
Well, no, quite frankly, they talk to me because they learn somehow, I think you tell them that I'm a lawyer, and they want legal advice.
There you go, because they're all murderers, apparently.
Well, one time I asked you to look at my script.
Yeah.
Have you read it yet? It's compelling.
Matt, is it necessary, a writer like this necessary? Because maybe they're just testing to see if people actually read it.
That's actually a good point, but it is necessary. If she wants this, she has to put this in a writer. I mean, it sounds like Bill's office. Have you ever walked in his office? He's got, he's got his carnations in the morning. I mean, he can't live without those.
Yeah.
But this shows me, I hate how Hollywood's always anti-Wall Street, anti-money, but they're the biggest hypocrites. They're the same ones that are blowing money, demanding all this stuff. At the same time, they're for the poor, they're for all this stuff, living up this life.
Kevin, if she asks for it, why not?
Well, I disagree with you on one thing, though. She actually apparently is kind of a free market type because her writer also specifies that she gets a cut of the scalping action.
Yeah, that was
where
good.
They have to set aside a certain number of tickets that she gives to third-party vendors.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. You know what? You see these stories and they're repulsive, obviously. But, the older I get, the more sympathetic I am to these sorts of people and professional athletes and things like that. Because I remember what I was like when I was 17.
Yeah.
And if I had been a multimillionaire and famous with endless options and the ability to impose my will on the world through a contract, I would have been a much, much bigger jerk than Katy Perry, I think.
You would be like those young princes in King of Thrones, where you would just go, on my rider, kill someone.
Yeah, I would have been like one of the Hussein sons.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Bill, her writer states that you need to leave any town she's in.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you for specifying.
That's called a
that it's
restraining order.
Yeah.
I think we all know where this is coming from.
Yeah.
She's married to Russell Brand. When you're married to a combination between Captain Jack Sparrow and a Sibian machine, you're going to start acting weird.
Weird, exactly. It's tearing her apart. Actually, I thought in the nature of transparency, I thought I would release my writer so everybody knows. When I travel, when I do speaking engagements, generally I ask for a triple rack of bunk beds. Barbershop quartet, why not? Commitment to annihilate and kill all griffins. I think that's not bad. A copy of Richard Simmons' book, Never Give Up. If you haven't read it, I suggest you go out there and pick it up. So much inspiration packed in so little pages from a tiny, tiny little man with giant hair. Also, I request a chin-up bar painted pink, covered in glitter. I actually don't even use it for exercises. But anyway, a case of Dasani bottled water, one slaughtered deer with toothpicks, and one gentleman dressed as a member of the Continental Army.
Wow.
Yeah, I also understand
Just
you
in
get
the corner.
Yes.
You get the
Staring.
64 count crayons and not the 8.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope this isn't too personal, but did you prefer Richard Simmons' Reflections or Revelations?
No, I thought his reflections, I don't know, they kind of sneak up on you.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Stories with a point.
Yeah, it changed my life. Not for the better, though.
No, you became a monster.
No, I'm just a complete.
The killing started after you finished that book.
I was a decent person.
Yeah.
Then I read Richard Simmons' book, and I just went. What am I talking about?
You say that live.
Yeah, he's here. He's actually back at my place. Do you have a comment on the show? Email us. It's redeye@foxnews.com. And to leave a voicemail, my direct line, 212-462-5050. Still to come, the halftime report from TV's Andy Levy. Bad guy.
Tonight's Halftime Report is sponsored by Signs, those lettered displays posted to identify and advertise, or to post a warning, command, or direction. Thanks, Signs.
Welcome back. Let's find out if we've got anything wrong so far. For that, we go to TV's Andy Levy. How you feeling, Andy?
Gotta tell you, Greg, I'm a little disturbed.
What's going on?
Take a look at this.
He's a little something better like me. Never should have been let out the penitentiary. Ice Cube, I'd like to say that I'm a crazy mother from around the way.
That really happened, Greg. That happened.
Geez, Andy, you have to hand it to her. She's bad at so many things.
Why does she have to ruin everything, Greg?
She truly is a sign of the end of times, Andy.
She has so much, and the rest of us, we have so little. Can't she just be happy with that?
I don't know. And what about those two guys? That's how they communicate all the time.
God,
Yeah. It's amazing.
I want to kill myself.
Yeah, sorry. I think we've brought the. I think this is the end of the world.
She is just the worst.
Yeah.
That was all of Jeffrey's lines in the King's Speech.
Yeah.
That's how he taught him, yes.
Judgment Day is here. Matt, you said from a business standpoint, family radio guy Harold Camping is a genius. Why are you so cynical, man?
I would hire that guy tomorrow. After he lives and doesn't die, I would hire him. How smart is he?
You know
a
what,
guy
Matt?
that
You know
doesn't
what,
go
Matt?
to
You know
college
what? No,
makes
no.
$80 million.
You know what, Matt? Unlike you and your hedge funds, Harold Camping isn't trying to get rich at the expense of American workers who actually create something. He's trying to help.
That's true. Yeah, he's helping these people go broke. That's awesome.
Amazing. Also, Matt, you pointed out correctly that May 21st isn't actually the end of the world. Here's what will be happening later today. A great earthquake will occur, an earthquake so powerful it will throw open all graves. The remains of all the believers who have ever lived will be instantly transformed into glorified spiritual bodies to be forever with God. On the other hand, the bodies of all unsaved people will be thrown out upon the ground to be shamed. Yeah. Which is sort of sounded a little bit like your basement.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, Bill and I often go to the cemeteries and shame all the time.
Yeah.
I like to think we're helping them.
Yeah. So it's not until October 21st, 2011, when God will completely destroy the earth and the surviving inhabitants.
Yeah. So from here to then is going to be a mess.
It's going to be fun because it's all the people going to hell. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be, but the traffic is going to be hell. It's just, the traffic's terrible.
Great.
I would not go. I would not fly.
No, well, and also, don't take the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Probably some great business opportunities ripping people off, though, Matt.
Yeah.
This is going to be a theme tonight, by the way. Remy, you poo-poo the fact that Harold Camping is self-taught. It's just the liberal elitism is just, it's astounding to me, and I just have a feeling the next several months for you are not going to be pleasant.
That's an interesting theory, Andy. I beg to differ. I didn't poo-poo anything. I just think it's interesting that he had no formal religious training, and yet all these people seem to believe that what he's saying is accurate.
And now you're poo-pooing again.
I don't
poo-pooed
poo-poo.
before, and you're poo-pooing again.
Somebody needs a laxative, or doesn't need a laxative.
Or the opposite.
Yes.
So actually, I read Campling's pamphlet. It's called "The End of the World is Almost Here. Holy God Will Bring Judgment Day on May 21st, 2011." A little on the nose, maybe, with the title. But I have to say, as a pamphlet writer myself, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'm a little convinced.
Yeah.
The Agenda Project's Granny Over the Cliff ad. Greg, you said that Tim Robbins' finest role was in Jacob's Ladder when we showed that clip. Yet earlier today, you said you'd never seen the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's called lying.
No, okay. All right. I will make a note of that.
Yes.
All right. That's going to come into play tomorrow.
I know. Well, I figured since I'm already lost, I can lie all I want.
Yeah,
Andy.
and I guess
Love
that's
your
how it
hair
works.
too.
Thanks. It's looking good today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I like the tousled, apocalyptic look.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can see you strolling down the plain, shirtless, holding the last remaining rifle and a 12-year-old lost child whose parents were killed, and all you're doing is finding food and shelter. Because that's what you did last weekend.
That's pretty much my life.
Is that Cormac McCarthy?
Yeah, I think I was doing The Road or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't even read, I bought that book, I never read it.
Yeah, like most people.
Yeah.
Kevin, you said you wish Republicans were this hardcore. What are you, some kind of right-wing social engineer?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So, Gingrich 2012?
Gingrich? No,
Yeah.
I'm a Rick Perry guy. I'm trying to, I'm the draft Rick Perry movement.